This is QTV Nightly News with me, Loliam Kabala. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. Following rising tensions in the Gambia, including online and street protests over the handling of assets confiscated from former President Yahya Jammeh, the National Assembly will hold an extraordinary session to address the matter. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, in partnership with the EU office in the Gambia, Friday held a day-long dialogue with government institutions and other stakeholders to strengthen partnership and cooperation. More than 70 nurses participated in the World Nurses and Midwives Week celebration organized by the Gambia Nurses and Midwives Association on Thursday at the Serakunda Minor Health Center. In a historic moment for the Catholic Church, Cardinal Robert Prevost, who has taken the name Pope Leo XIV, was elected on Thursday as the 267th Pope, becoming the first U.S.-born pontiff to lead the Vatican. In sports news, the Gambia women's national team has intensified their training in preparation for the upcoming West Africa Football Union WAFU tournament in Mauritania. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Thank you for joining us. Following rising tensions in the Gambia, including online and street protests over the handling of assets confiscated from former President Yahya Jammeh, the National Assembly will hold an extraordinary session to address the matter. Alusisi has the latest.
The outcry was sparked by an article titled "Assets of Jammeh Going for a Song," published on April 30th by the Republic. The article alleges that multi-million-dollar properties, vehicles, and other valuables seized from the former authoritarian leader were sold for far less than their true value, and more controversially, that some were bought by sitting ministers. In 2019, a state-led inquiry found that Jammeh had looted over $362 million from public funds, spending lavishly on private jets, luxury cars, and real estate. His assets were forfeited to the state. Public backlash on the article has been swift. Some protesters formed a citizens group demanding full disclosure of who acquired the former president's assets. But when they were denied a permit to deliver a letter to the Attorney General and went ahead with a peaceful march, several were arrested. The Gambia Press Union has strongly condemned the arrest and the permit denial, calling it a violation of the rights to peaceful assembly. The National Human Rights Commission echoed these concerns in a press release on Saturday, labeling the detentions of protesters and journalists as a breach of basic freedoms. Now, the pressure has seemingly forced Parliament's hand. The clerk of the National Assembly has announced an extraordinary session scheduled for Wednesday, May 14th and Thursday, May 15th at 10 a.m. on both days. Lawmakers will consider a motion to establish a special select committee to investigate the sale and disposal of Jammeh's assets. As the country demands answers, all eyes now turn to the Assembly and whether transparency will finally catch up with the shadows of the past. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, in partnership with the EU office in the Gambia, Friday held a day-long dialogue with government institutions and other stakeholders with a view to strengthening partnership and cooperation. And Sumana Isonyasi reports.
This dialogue seeks to provide a platform for strategic engagement between the EU government and relevant stakeholders. The EU ambassador to the Gambia, Ima Roca Cortes, tells stakeholders that the European bloc values its partnership with the government and other stakeholders in the Gambia. She highlighted the strengthened relations between the Gambia and the EU since the 2017 change of government, which have led to the bloc's support for numerous development projects across diverse sectors and key national reform initiatives.
From both sides, we have consistently provided evidence that our ties are based on concrete and consistent commitments. Since joining the democratic family, the Gambia has been the main beneficiary per capita of the EU solidarity in Africa. This alone shows how serious our involvement has been.
The EU's ambassador to the Gambia also stressed the EU's commitment to strengthening shared values and historical relations with the Gambia, expressing hope about the impact that this dialogue with stakeholders is expected to have. Furthermore, she gave assurances that the EU will continue to be a reliable partner to the Gambia.
And I would like to assert it and to to tell you from the outset, we will remain by your side to work together for the Gambia's development and all our shared interests. Holding a new session of our formal political dialogue almost 2.5 years after the previous session, and now in the framework of a partnership dialogue under the Samoa Agreement, is both timely and highly strategic.
On behalf of the Gambia government, Trade Minister Babukar Ojouf said government appreciates the EU support and continued partnership since the change of regime in 2017, and went on to highlight the EU's significant investment in sectors such as energy, fisheries and health. Similar remarks were also made by the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Langiabo.
This dialogue reflects the spirit of partnership and shared purpose that has long defined the relationship between the Gambia and the European Union. Allow me to, at this point, express our deepest appreciation to the European Union for its steadfast and unwavering support over the years, support that has been instrumental in the Gambia's democratic transition and institutional reforms, especially since 2017.
The EU has committed over 500 million euros to the Gambia since 2017, supporting various sectors including governance, infrastructure, social services, trainings on legislative processes, enhanced communication strategies, among others. Through these initiatives, the EU continues to play a pivotal role in fostering a resilient and prosperous future for the Gambia. Asmane Sonyasi for KTV News.
More than 70 nurses participated in the World Nurses and Midwives Week celebration, organized by the Gambia Nurses and Midwives Association on Thursday at the Serakunda Minor Health Center. The event aimed to recognize and celebrate the essential role of nurses and midwives in providing quality healthcare to global health systems. Our Bob tells us more.
Over the years, nurses and midwives have played a crucial role in delivering quality health care and saving countless lives. The theme for this year's celebration, Our Nurses Are Future, underscores the indispensable role these professionals play in shaping the future of health care. David Day Jr., officer in charge of the Serakunda Health Center, discussed the importance of a healthy society and highlighted the challenges
facility and at times a lack of recognition. The pandemic revealed both the heroics of nurses and the fatality of the system that support. It taught us that applause alone is not enough. It is time for sustainable change. We must advocate for a better pay, safe working environment.
Fatou Sanyang is the principal nursing officer at Western One Health Region.
To our hard-working nurses in everyday health facility, you are the heartbeat of our health system. You work long hours, face difficult situations, and still show up with compassion, strength, and dedication. Your role cannot be replaced, and your service cannot be measured. You don't just treat illnesses, you touch lives, bring comfort, and restore hope. You are heroes in action.
Adama Jallo, head of the Infants Unit at the Serakunda Health Center, emphasized the vital role nurses play in ensuring the well-being of patients.
Nursing is more than a profession. It is a calling. It requires not only medical expertise, but also boundless empathy, unwavering patience, and a heart that cares deeply for others. Every day, nurses step into hospitals, clinics, and communities, bringing hope to people, comfort, and healing those who are in need. Whether it is holding the hand of a frightened patient, working long hours to ensure every detail of care is perfect, or advocating for those who cannot speak for themselves, nurses make the difference.
By investing in and supporting nurses and midwives, we not only recognize their invaluable contributions, but also strengthen the foundation of our healthcare systems. Events like the one held at the Serakunda Minor Health Center not only honor their invaluable contributions, but also serve as a reminder of the critical role nurses and midwives play in strengthening global health systems and shaping a healthier future for all. For QTV News, I am Our Bob.
We are now taking a short commercial break. When we return, we will learn how antimicrobial resistance could pose a serious threat to our health and hear about the election of the 267th Pope, the first U.S.-born pontiff to lead the Catholic Church. Stay tuned.
réewu Gambia ana ñu ko doon waajal di laajte kañ la ak fan la dama ne may ma sa nopp ma déy la waa Kombo Beach Resort ñoo leen indil Amadou borom Masamba Waalo mu nar a ñëw def kala diina bu doy waar bu nar a neex on the 9 of May lay doon dama ne lii foor na ñu ne emuñu ci loolu dinañu indi Awa Gambia xale bu mun a wëy Awa Gambia nooy ñëwee mu ne ma kapsin dinaa def lu foor ndax kat ku ma xam ma ci mbalax mu tar mi dinaa indi ñaar fukki sabar waaw kay Kombo Beach Resort ne emuñu ci loolu dinañu indi malls mu ñëw toj Souleymane yi ñëw toccanti ko kon nag book leen seeni tables gold table $50,000 platinum table $60,000 individual duga bi $4,000 kon nag reservation enquiries number 764-7777
sama mbokku Gambien yi maa leen jox rendez-vous inshallah le 9 mai.
The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry (GCCI) hosts the 18th edition of the Trade Fair Gambia International, the country's premier business and innovative event that brings together local entrepreneurs, regional investors, and international brands. Trade Fair Gambia International 2025 is in full swing at the Trade Fair grounds in Bruceby, Turntable. And this year, it has become a one-stop destination for all your Tobaski shopping. This year's fair showcases over 700 exhibitors from across Africa and beyond. From elegant outfits and stylish shoes to home decor, kitchenwares, and gifts for the whole family. Everything you need right here on the one roof. And beyond shopping, the fair brings a festive atmosphere with lots of food, music, and activities for the entire family. Local and regional vendors are stocked up with special Tobaski deals, making it easier than ever to shop smart and support small businesses. Organized by the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Trade Fair Gambia International 2025 is helping bring communities together and making this Tobaski more convenient, affordable, and a memorial one. So why wait? Come down to the Trade Fair ground and celebrate the season in style. Think Tobaski, think Trade Fair.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. The National Public Health Laboratories under the Ministry, in collaboration with Hendy Ford Hospital from the United States, launched a 2-day training on infection prevention and antimicrobial resistance. Aisa Tubari has the rest of that story.
The training aims to equip healthcare professionals with the knowledge and skills needed to combat the spread of resistant infections and promote the responsible use of antimicrobial medicines, as the global threat of antimicrobial resistance continues to rise. The training will also address the critical issue of AMR, where resistant bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites can no longer be effectively treated with existing medication. It will also highlight the importance of antibiotic stewardship, urging health workers to only prescribe antibiotics when necessary. Masireng Dingyai, the CEO of the Bansang General Hospital, highlights on the dangers of antimicrobial resistance.
When we talk about antimicrobial resistance, this is how antibiotics get resistant, or how the bacteria that we're trying to treat get resistant to the drugs we are giving them. And this is very serious, because if the drugs that we are hoping that is going to cure, if, example, you are sick, they tell you the medication that is going to cure you is not available, then you are worried. So this is telling us that the antibiotics that we're using are now getting resistant. Most of the bacteria are getting resistant to antibiotics, which is dangerous.
Self-medication has become a norm in our society, which is a leading cause of AMR. Maseren Dingyai again.
Let people try to avoid buying antibiotics on their own. If you travel anywhere in the West or other parts of the world, antibiotics are not just given like that. They have to be prescribed by a qualified person, and then you are given to it by a prescription. Without a prescription, they cannot. But in the Gambia, unfortunately, even if you go into the market today, you'll see people with drugs, with amoxicillin, with everything they are selling in the streets. They're selling every pharmacy in the corner. People who are not even nurses, who are not trained, are selling antibiotics everywhere. This is a concern.
Haruna S. Jallo is the head of microbiology lab at the National Public Health Laboratories.
The training is about antimicrobial resistant. And when we talk about antimicrobial resistant, that is where the microorganism, being bacteria, virus, parasites, and getting resistant to these noble drugs that we have circulating globally, that should help us against these particular organisms.
Aissatou Oja, the head of lab at the Farafanya General Hospital, has this advice for the public regarding self-medication.
One message I would like to give is, in as much as we try to self-diagnose ourselves at homes, trying to reach out to the pharmacists because they're nearer to us, there are healthcare facilities here for a reason. And basically in every region, no matter how far the place is, there is a general hospital where we have specialists in each of these areas that are able to help in their diagnosis.
Aisa Lee is a senior lab scientist at the Kanifing General Hospital.
With effective sensitization and awareness to the public, it will really help us to achieve our goals when it comes to fighting AMRs.
Understanding AMR is crucial in areas with limited resources and access to healthcare, as these factors can intensify the issue. Implementing strategies like proper antimicrobial use and promoting good hygiene practices are essential to protect public health. Aissatou Tubari, QTV News.
Coming up next is international news. In a historic milestone for the Catholic Church, Cardinal Robert Prevost has been elected the 267th Pope, taking the name Pope Leo XIV and becoming the first U.S.-born pontiff to lead the Catholic Church. Speaking from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican within the city of Rome, Pope Leo delivered his first address, calling for peace and paying tribute to the legacy of his predecessor, the late Pope Francis. Usman Jada has the details.
Pope Leo, a 69-year-old cardinal from Chicago, stepped into history on Thursday evening as he emerged onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica and greeted thousands of cheering faithful with the words, "Peace be with you all."
La pace sia con tutti voi.
His election sparked a wave of global reaction as world leaders sent their congratulations, with U.S. President Donald Trump calling the moment a great honor for the country. The decision was made after the College of Cardinals convened in conclave and gave Prevost more than thirds of the vote, electing him to succeed Pope Francis, who passed away last month.
Madre Maria vuole...
Although American by birth, Leo is deeply connected to Latin America. He spent decades in Peru as a missionary and church leader, earning Peruvian citizenship and a reputation for working with marginalized communities and fostering unity. Born in Chicago in 1955 to Spanish and Franco-Italian parents, Pope Leo began his journey in the church as an altar boy. He was ordained in 1982 and moved to Peru 3 years later, where he served as a pastor and eventually returned to the U.S. as a prior in his hometown. With his deep multicultural roots and global perspective, Pope Leo is already being seen as a bridge builder ready to lead the Catholic Church into a new era. Osman Jata, reporting for QTV News.
Sports news is next. The Gambia women's national team has intensified their training preparation for the upcoming West Africa Football Union WAFU tournament in Mauritania. This competition will act as a warm-up ahead of their Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifying match against Kenya in October. Mamadou Gajaga was at the team's training ground and he now reports.
The Gambia women's national team are training after a long break in preparation for the WAFU Women's Football Tournament to be held in Mauritania from the 18th to the 31st of this month. The team were boosted with the arrival of Khadi Jaju and Salimata Sedikan from Liberia's First Division side, Satir Angels. The training involved physical, tactical and mental training. Mariama Sow, head coach of the women's national team, says the team is in good shape following recent training.
Preparation is on a high gear. We are training the team physically, mentally towards the upcoming WAFU tournament in Mauritania. Definitely. We are teaching them how to kick the ball, and as you witness the training session, they definitely doing what is expected from them.
The Gambia will compete with Senegal, Mali, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, Liberia, and host Mauritania for the coveted prize. They will face stiff competition against these countries. The Gambia women's team is yet to register a major success at either regional or continental level. They are 2 games away from making history to qualify for the Africa Women's Cup of Nations, if they can surpass Kenya in a 2-leg match this October. The WAFU competition will be a major test of their strength. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
All right, good luck to them. Before we end, here is a recap of the headlines. Following rising tensions in the Gambia, including online and street protests over handling of assets confiscated from former President Yahya Jammeh, the National Assembly will hold an extraordinary session to address the matter. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, in partnership with the EU office in the Gambia, Friday held a day-long dialogue with government institutions and other stakeholders to strengthen partnership and cooperation. More than 70 nurses participated in the World Nurses and Midwives Week celebration organized by the Gambian Nurses and Midwives Association on Thursday at the Serekunda Minor Health Center. In a historic moment for the Catholic Church, Cardinal Robert Prevost, who has taken the name Pope Leo XIV, was elected on Thursday as the 267th Pope, becoming the first U.S.-born pontiff to lead the Catholic Church. In sports news, the Gambia women's national team has intensified their training preparation for the upcoming West Africa Football Union WAFU tournament in Mauritania. That's all for now in this news bulletin. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for another bulletin. Until then, thanks for watching.